This is my Frankenbass. Now, what makes it a Frankenbass, you say? Well, we have a swamp ash body, pretty highly carved. We have a crotch walnut neck, and crotch walnut face, Macassar ebony fingerboard, and it's got, you know, the access cover is threaded inserts, so it's real easy to take that apart and change the batteries. The neck is a different neck. It was meant for a different project than I actually ended up using. This neck is the body that corresponded to this neck went kaput, so I had the neck laying around. I had this body laying around, and I wanted to try out some Kent Armstrong pickups that I get from WD. I've used a number of their pickups for my guitar class, but I've never used one for me personally, so I got the Music Man pickup, and I got a 2-band EQ from WD Music. So I figured this would be a good thing to use it for. My brain stopped on the day that I was installing the bridge, and I installed it, you know, about 3 millimeters too far in one direction, so I had to plug the holes and redo it. That's a Franken thing. There was a hole here. I don't even know how that hole got here, but there's a little tiny hole, and so it must be a customer looking for something. So I plugged that. And so the headstock doesn't really match the body. They're both brown, but other than that, it's got Godot bridge. It's got tuners that work, and so that's it. The ample body contour for those with ample bodies, not naming any names. 1 9/16" width, 23 millimeters depth, 2.5 like most Fenders. It's pretty comfortable bass, I think. It's about 9 pounds. I've taken it out on a couple of gigs and been real happy with the sound. So here comes the sound. Right now, my amp is set completely flat. The EQ is completely flat. My little GK. Generally, I would back off on the trebles because that's just who I am, and I would leave the bass pumped up just a hair. But in this case, I just figured I'd do it with as flat of an EQ as possible so you can hear the bass without a whole lot of coloring. So here it is. Was that clanky? I think that's my crappy playing. So that's just flat. Now, I personally, you know, if you're into slapping, I'm not, but you can get all the quack you need out of that treble pickup. I tend to play it backed up, and it's a much cleaner sound. My amp happens to have a 10 dB pad, because I found that this will drive the amp pretty hard. It'll drive the preamp pretty hard. So for me, when I was playing with an R&B band with it, it was good to have the 10 dB switch on it. I think if I fooled with it longer, I could get it to sound great with any different kind of amp and that kind of thing. If you're just going along, I'm going to put the 10B back on. If you're just going along, and then here's a little bit more bass to it. So anyway, easy to use controls, volume, bass, treble. The volume control, it doesn't have it right now, but it will have a push-pull pot, and so you can pull it up, defeat the EQ, and that's going to give you a different tone, but also get you through a gig if the battery craps out on you. These things are pretty power stingy, so I think probably 6 months per battery. I'm not sure exactly. So that's it. That's my little Frankenbass. I hope things work out with us, and I think someone will get a really decent little bass for a very reasonable price, and it offered me the chance to do a little bit of experimentation and still come up with a pretty nice little bass. This is like 9 pounds, it's an ash bass, and there's no chambers in it, so it's got a little bit of meat to it. But overall, the 2 gigs I took it on, people were very complimentary of it. You'd never know from my playing, but it was, it sounded great on the gig. So anyway, that's it. Take care.